you can visit our website for the commands in the videos. If you want to purchase other study materials like packet tracer files and other course guidelines, then you can email to us. Follow us on Facebook for further updates. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe so I can quickly deliver more videos on various topics. So today we'll be learning about the static routing. So here I will explain the basic circuit now itself so that you can have a brief idea about it. First of all, you need to know why we need routing. In order to communicate from router to router, you need to specify how you can reach from one router to other router or one network to other network. So that we need to configure routing. So here you can see in the PCs 192.168.10.10. The other PC 192.168.20.10. Other one 30.10 and the next one is 40.10. Likewise, network to network we are going to communicate. Okay. So for the 10.10, 192.168.10.10, the 10.1 is going to be the default gateway, which is the router's interface. You can see 192.168.10.1 is going to be the gateway for it. For the 192.168.20.10, 192.168.20.1 is going to be the default gateway for this PC. For the next one, 192.168.30.10 PC, 192.168.30.1 is going to be the gateway. Okay. So while configuring default gateway, you need to specify the exact IP address of the router's interface. Okay. Next, we can see in between router to router 195.100.101 and 196.100.101, 197.100.101. Likewise, the networks are there. Each and every network has the CIDR notation /30, which means you can have the subnet mask as 255.255.255.252. Okay. So if you have any doubts regarding the subnet mask, you can refer our IP address tutorials. Okay. So if it is /24, you will get 255.255.255.0, right? If it is /29, you will get 255.255.255.248. Okay. If you refer the IP videos, subnetting videos, you can simply understand the differences. Okay. In PCs, it's having /24, which means the subnet mask is going to be 255.255.255.0, right? So you can see the router's interfaces. Also, in between routers from serial 00 interface, and for the other router, it's connecting to serial 01 of the second router. Okay. So for the first router, serial 00, I have assigned 195.100.101/30. For the second router, serial 01, I have assigned 195.100.100.2/30. Okay. And for the second router, serial 00, you can see 196.100.101, and for the third router, serial 001, 196.100.100.2. So likewise, it's going for the fourth router and third routers, serial 00 and 01, right? You can see by visually, I have explained. So instead of serial interfaces, you can use fast Ethernet interfaces as well. You just have to add some modules for fast Ethernet interfaces into the router. But the cables must be crossover cable, okay? Because routers are same kind of device, right? Router to router connection, you are connecting a MAC device into another MAC device. So you need to use a crossover cable. If you connect a router with a switch, you are connecting a MAC with a non-MAC device. So you need to use a straight through cable, okay? These are the basics you have seen in our previous lectures, okay? If you have any doubts, you can refer those tutorials. Now let's have a look at why we need routing. The purpose of routing is, after all the IP allocations and device connections, when you try to communicate from this particular PC to other routers or networks, you can reach from this PCA, you can reach up to this router's interface only, 195.100.1/30. You can't reach 195.100.100.2 either, okay, or any other networks. You can't reach any other network beyond that, okay, because that particular router doesn't know how to reach the other networks. So the PCB can only travel up to 195.100.100.2 and 196.100.100.1. It can't reach the other network because that second router doesn't know how to reach the 196.100.100.2 or 195.100.100.1. It can reach only its directly connected networks or interfaces, which means 195.100.100.2, 196.100.100.1 and 192.168.20.1, which is obvious because it is the default gateway for it. So definitely it can communicate, but it can't go through any other networks. So you need to specify the routers how to reach or how to enter the other networks, via which interface I can reach other networks. This is what explained by routing. Okay, this is our purpose of implementing routing. We will use static routing or dynamic routing or default routing in order to configure this. Okay, so next we'll have a look at the configuration part. Okay, so you need to know about the configuration commands, but before configuring the commands, you need to have an understanding what you are going to specify in routing. Okay, so you need to calculate what are the known networks and unknown networks for each router when configuring static routing. Okay, before the configuration, you need to calculate it separately for each router. Okay, so from left side, I'm moving as router 1, router 2, router 3, router 4, like that. Okay, so for first, we need to calculate what are the directly connected networks and what are the unknown networks. Directly connected are known networks. You don't need to configure any static routing for that. Okay, so 192.168.10.n, 195.100.100 networks are known network for R1. So you don't need to specify it or configure routing for that. But the other networks, when you move from left to right, okay, you need to calculate what are the unknown networks. So 196.100.100 network and 197.100.100 network and 192.168.20. network, 192.168.30. network and 192.168.40. network. All these 5 networks are unknown for the router R1. Okay, so you need to specify these 5 networks when configuring the static routing for router R1. For router R2, it differs. Okay, again you need to calculate what are the known networks and what are the unknown networks. Okay, directly connected networks you don't need to specify. Other networks you need to specify. Then only the router will know how to reach that network. Okay, next we'll have a look from router R1 left to right. We are going to calculate the unknown networks. Since there is no any other router in the left side, you need to focus only on right side. Okay, first of all, you can select from router 2 what are the unknown networks. So you can see 196.100.100 network, which means 196.100.100.0 and 192.168.20. network and 192.168.30. and 40. and 197.100.100 network. All these 5 networks we need to specify. Next we'll move for the router R2. Okay, so for router R2 you need to find left to right. Okay, from right side there are 2 routers, left side there is 1 router. For right side routers, you can select 197.100.100 is an unknown network and 192.168.30. and 192.168.40. All these 3 networks are unknown for the router R2. Okay, so you need to use a static routing and configure for these 3 networks for router R2. so that it can reach the other networks. Now let's move from right to left of router R2. Left side it has a router R1, right? So in that you can see what are the unknown networks. So 192.168.10 dot is a unknown network for router R2. Okay, since it's not connected directly. Only 195.100.100 is a directly connected network. So you don't need to specify that network. And 196.100.100 also directly connected. 192.168.20 dot is also directly connected. So you don't need to specify these three networks. But all other networks you need to specify as a static routing. Okay. So next, for a clear understanding, further if you need to clarify, you can go for router R3. Okay, we'll try. So for router R3, just initially left to right, or else you just have a look at what are the known networks first. So 197.100.100 is a known network, which means directly connected, and 196.100.100 is a known network, which is directly connected, and 192.168.30 dot is a known network which is directly connected. So all these three networks you can omit in the static routing. You don't need to specify these for router R3. Okay. So next, move for the left to right. Right side you have a router R4. In that 192.168.40 dot network is a unknown network for router R3. Okay. So you need to specify how to reach that 40 dot network to router R3. Then only it will understand how you can reach the 40 dot network. When a traffic comes, it reaches in that interface. Okay. So next, right to left. What are the unknown networks you need to calculate? So you can see 195.100.100 is unknown. You need to specify. And 192.168.20 dot and 192.168.10 dot, all these three networks are unknown networks for router R3. 192.168.10 dot and 20 dot and 195.100.100 network. All these three from left side. Okay. So altogether you are going to specify 4 networks, 4 static routing for this router R3. Okay, left side and right side. Okay, so this is how you need to calculate before you configure a static routing. The configuration part has a lot of calculation involved. So in this way, it takes a lot of time to configure, but static routing is very stable. So the router will give more preference. Simply saying, you can tell like after the directly connected routing, the router gives more preference for the static routing part, not the dynamic routing. Okay, because an administrator manually configured these static routing, so router will give more preference for this. Okay, rather than the dynamic routing. Router anyways gives first preference for the directly connected networks. Secondly, it's giving for static routing. Okay, in exams there are some questions regarding this. Okay, router's preference level. So you need to know these things. So it would be easier for you to attempt the exam. Website for the commands in the videos. If you want to purchase other study materials like Traceroute files and other course guidelines, then you can email to us. Follow us on Facebook for further updates.